Except have a cookie.
All right, so all meetings to order. Yeah. Get started. Thanks everyone for coming. We've got Patty remote. Thanks Patty for joining us from the road. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so last month we weren't able to vote on things, and other things to vote on this meant our last meeting. So I'll start off adopting the agenda. I get someone the motion.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
A second.
Okay, all in favor? Good timing, all right. And then we have the minutes from the December meeting that we need to approve, as well as the notes from the January meeting. So,
I move to approve the December.
okay, and second,
A second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And for January, did anybody have any corrections, changes? Not, can I get a motion to approve those?
Motion to approve the January minutes.
Okay, and a second.
Second.
Thanks, Richard. All right, all in favor?
Uh,
Okay, great. I have one question from the minutes, that wasn't about the accuracy of that today, drop the ball. But that's what we do with the roving fire hall for Halloween. I think I said I would, and I said I did. Yeah, I don't think I did. So I will put that on my to-do list. Okay. So then we'll move into the planning calendar. Really? Yeah, we can't have any of the royal weeds in our minutes. Who he was. Oh, okay.
You have the date that we have. For that, right? The 28th.
Yes. So a couple things from the planning calendar. So did we do the Stewart's grant application?
Oh, yeah, I gotta get that one.
Okay,
It just doesn't take long.
right. And then the board of trustees meeting notices are on the website now. There's a general one, right? And I know you said in your report, you did the New York City State report. It's just early. Great. And then we're gonna be posting the scholarship application.
It's on there.
Okay, right, all right.
Tax prep is done as well.
Wow, kid, rocking it.
I keep it. My stuff.
Okay, so upcoming in March, so we did set, everybody was put on their calendar for March 2nd, we're gonna do the 2 Upper Hudson training, so the meeting, effective meetings and finance 101. And I will bring some food to have, early and people want to as a team. Get ready for that.
Those are 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we did schedule the cabin fever brunch, sort of just something to bring people into the library, playing off the new resident thing. It's not a new resident, it's Sarah talk about later, but that's set for the 12th. Last month we agreed on our annual meeting for the 16th, which means by March 16th, we need to post the slate of trustees. And then we have a deadline for the summer camp food application coming up in March.
Those will be given to us. I just talked to everyone in Chile, sending that stuff out to us. within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, great.
March 16th.
And then April, we've got the Easter party, we have the annual meeting, we have blood drive, and Wellness Day, which I will talk about later, so a good bit of stuff coming up. Anyone else have anything else to add or comment on that? All right, so move on to.
So somehow I managed to get a whole bunch of programs set up for the next few months early. So we have some bigger things happening that I just let everyone know about. One thing that we are doing, so a woman named Susan came to me to see if they could use the community room for NYSERDA Clean Energy's Community Committee, meeting. And so we're going to post that as an informational session for the library to host, and we're gonna have that here.
What's it called again?
NYSERDA's Clean Energy Communities.
SCCER?
Oh, NYSERDA.
Okay,
It's
it's
on
on your thing, okay,
It's all on there.
all right.
The other big things that we have is, we're having Celtic music with Jeff Snow coming back. He was great the last time he was here. We're doing a fiber arts with Angora rabbits. So you're gonna learn how to, spin wool from Angora rabbits.
Will the rabbits be in?
Yeah, two of them here. So we have to like, yes.
The spinning wheels.
There's some pictures of them.
Yes, we will.
So we do tie in a book club of,
That's not it. There's a man named John Brown who does storytelling about New York State history. He's gonna be coming in April. And then I think it's something.
That's great, the same as John Brown.
Storytelling. about-
His body is all freaking great.
Yeah.
John Brown.
And then we're doing, oh, yeah, just another Alzheimer's, we're gonna try again for the Alzheimer's program in May. So we actually have stuff like set up quite a bit, so that's a good thing. Again, programs are still going pretty well. We didn't have anyone sign up for the cell phone and internet safety for families, so we might try and push that off to another time, so we can get other people with them. Yesterday, we had 11 children and 9 adults here for story time, which was like complete chaos and wonderful. Cheryl is very happy doing story time now, so I've been able to just kind of hang out and say hi to everybody, and I can go back to my office and keep working while they do their fun stuff.
That's
So-
great. And I know it was hard for you to give up Kim, I know you like that.
It's very hard.
Yeah, so appreciation for.
Well, it had to be done, and I didn't have a choice. I really didn't, because there's just too much to be doing that they don't have enough time for. So, and Cheryl just had it. She's got a stack of emails now, which she's just constantly getting ideas, and so she's even reaching out to the Albany Library because someone from WMHT is doing a program on the mitten by Jim Brett at the Albany Libraries, and she's gonna see if she can't get her to come here.
Wow.
She said, go for it, do whatever you want, you can get it, let's do it.
Is the John Brown storytelling for families or
And
adults?
it's more
or-
adults. I think
And
it's
it's
more
the
adults.
history of New York State kind of thing?
I have to look again, I don't remember exactly.
That's okay, that's fine for now.
Oh. I can look at it. So, yeah, so I'll let you know about that.
Great, thanks.
No, that's not it. So programs are still going well. John Wall is still using the building for yoga. Circulation statistics, they're pretty self-explanatory. Our January numbers went down for total visits, but that's normal for this time of year. Collection development, again, same old stuff. This month I attended a DA meeting. Just a reminder from Tim Burke that trustee mandatory training now in effect. Library Advocacy Day, so you're gonna talk about that later, is on the 28th. Construction aid and proposed library aid have been slashed, and hopefully during Library Advocacy Day, it will encourage everybody to then help put those numbers back up again. So for library aid, it went down from 99.6 million to 96.1 million, and construction aid, it's proposed to take it from 34 million down to 14. So hopefully that will be able to be changed, which it usually does. It goes, someone, I guess, Tim was saying that someone actually was proposing doubling last year's, so bringing it up to 68 million for construction.
That's what Paul May said something.
Yeah,
similar,
so who knows what's gonna happen with it. And then the other thing just to know about is that we have an audiobook rotating collection from Upper Hudson. We get it every 3 months. They have decided to sunset that because the numbers just aren't making sense anymore, and what people are taking out or changing, which is one of the reasons why I also I haven't really been buying a lot for our audiobook collection. Maybe 1, 2 people who actually use it regularly, so that's probably gonna be another collection that's gonna actually be discontinued.
People doing more of that too, see the apps.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. I spoke to a woman named Karen Strong this week or last week, sometime recently. She's with the Agricultural Stewardship Association, and she is doing, so they're basically researching Rensselaer County and trying to find out how it is that the ASA can help communities in this area. And so she kind of wanted to find out, well, what is our area like, what are some things that we might need, do we need, outdoor program, or outdoor spaces, all that kind of stuff, so that was something that we just kind of sat and chatted about.
You can send her the survey results.
I gave her some of them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I gave them to her, so that was actually super helpful to have that.
Yeah.
That was a good thing to be able to go.
It's not just us saying this is what we think, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we met with Paul for the building committee, with the committee meeting. My annual report has been submitted to HLS for review, so hopefully, cross my fingers, everyone else, please cross your fingers. There's nothing on there that needs to be fixed. I already went through all of the flags, and so hopefully it should just go through. I hope. We met with the branding and marketing, as Cheryl's doing really well. And just so everybody knows, I don't have this in my report, because I just finished it all today. Museum passes, there's now a link on our website to museum passes. If you go to the About Us section, there's now a tab for museum passes, and then you can see all of the passes we have. Click on the link to see what the institution is, and then we also now have a calendar that you can click on and see where things have been reserved, so you can see what's available, and that's up to date in time. So I'm going to be training the staff on how to use this, so this will be what they use instead of our calendars, right? And it also will be, the staff are the only ones who can change this. Patrons can't, so you can't just get on it, it'll be for people. The scholarship is also on the website now. With a link to the application that people can download. I did put in there that it's due on May 19th. And that it can either be mailed, handed in person, or sent via email to us. Added Juneteenth as a close day to our calendar. And I believe survey, I think that's, oh no, wait, one more thing. I got a call from Pam Garrett about Invisible Stephentown. They want to know when the tent is going up, because they would really, really like to use the tent for some programming that they would like to have. Usually we let the tent up to in June. They said that if it could be put up in May, they would love to put money towards putting it up. And I said I would talk to you guys about it, because that's really more of a forward thing. So, so if we can get it put up in May, they would love to at least put a little bit of money towards helping with the cost of putting it up. So I said I would get back to her about
What organization?
Indivisible Stephentown.
The Democratic organization.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I guess not really Democratic. Yes, it's a progressive.
Progressive, yes, there you go. They really just want to use the space again, because they had their ice cream social.
Yeah, I went to it. It was
They
fun.
loved it. It was great, so we want to do the same thing. It's really not gonna change how much you pay for the tent being put up or down. If we put it up a month earlier than we normally would, so that's not gonna change anything.
Did they say how much they would?
They didn't, they just said they would help with it. I think they kind of went and said, we'll just help with it, and then they also said something about like, oh, we'll pay for it to be put up, but I don't know if they realize it's like $400 to put up, so. But that is also something that's in the budget for the youth commission, so it's not like that's coming out of our pocket either, so. if it gets put up a little bit earlier, that's. fine.
So if,
Yeah,
if it's coming out of the
coming
youth commission budget, can we take the money from them to support it? Like, how would that work?
They make a contribution.
Yeah,
They
they get
make a
that
contribution.
Yeah, yeah, or I would put money towards the youth commission, like we have a separate budget line for youth commission expenses that we.
Oh,
can
yeah,
put
yeah,
it in.
Yeah, I think, I think it has to be handled like that, not like paying for putting it out.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was the contact person's name?
Pam Cooper's.
Oh, it's Pam.
Until I can't tell you, sometimes she goes by Cooper, sometimes she goes by Barrett. Excuse me. So if we want to put it up in May, I'm fine with it. I think it needed the help we can use it.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a good
standard.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And we have to look for a new company this year, is that, what are we never
Talked about what people can write down.
and getting it cleaned out, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause we didn't clean it before.
Yes, it was. It's, yeah. Go for it. It's on you.
It's great, awesome. We can have people awareness.
So. I think that is pretty much everything for me. The pictures that you see at the bottom are story time and Chinese New Year. The stars and everything is good. Cakes and apples and all. But the way it's- No, they love it. They love it. These are. So.
You're chocolate, right?
Chinese New Year.
Yeah. very-
Chinese New Year. Oh, this one, I never done it. We had two families. So really bad weather day. It was terrible weather. I was trying to let anybody actually. So we had we had 3 teenagers, 1 and 2 children, well, 1 child under 12 and then 1 child under 5. And then the dad and another mom, so 3 adults. And it was a very interesting conversation, and we're going to, actually, they were homeschoolers, and we're going to have a homeschool meetup sometime next month here for homeschoolers in Stephentown, because there are a lot of new homeschoolers and we need some support. We're also gonna do, I've also been in contact with someone through Facebook who has just set up a Moms of Stephentown community Facebook group. And they've been asking what kinds of things can we do? Can we have the moms meet up? So I've offered the library. I also told them to come to story time because that's what the moms meet up anyway. And so we're going to, if they can't come to that, then we'll be doing something in the morning when nobody's here and moms can just come in and get to know each other. The other thing, so Susan, who is looking to volunteer in any way, shape, or form she can, except coming to meetings. She's going to be helping with story time. She said she wants to come in and get for that. So I think what she'll help do is just watch kids, so moms can, you've got 1 child you're running after, then maybe mom can do it with the other kid. And so she's gonna train and give us for that. So we'll see how that goes next week.
And Cheryl's saying with the age of the kids, they're all just, they're not able to really sit still.
They're all, the majority of them are under 2.
So my niece,
What's
I
that?
think my niece came last week, Charlie. Like my mother-in-law and
I wasn't there last week, so I didn't get to see them, but yeah, I think
they had a great time. Cause they previously, she's taken my mother-in-law watches my niece and she's taken her to East Greenbush story time, which I know from experience, it's like so overwhelming. There's so many people. And it's a lot of kids and it's especially for a 2-year-old, it's really hard. So I told her to come and it came last week and said it was great. So I don't know if they came yesterday.
I don't think they did,
Yeah.
so I saw everybody this time.
Yeah.
But we do have actually a new family in town, just moved in. It's all right. And the husband is a veteran. And they're a young family with a school child and they're 3-week-old baby. Oh my gosh. It took me. I'm kidding. But we have put him in touch with Phyllis because he has been looking for a way to be active veterans, so hopefully maybe he will be somebody that we can, you know, go back and forth with. Or- So we're making some more connections.
Do you think a potential trustee?
I don't know. I think I'd have to talk to him some more,
Because
because
that would be great to have a vet.
as a part of
Yeah.
the board, yeah. I can talk to him. I can see a little bit more. Seeing he's very friendly, very involved with the kids, like, and with mom and things, you know, it was good. That's very good. So yeah, so we've got a lot of stuff going. It was a lot. Yes, thank you. No problem. So if that's. Okay, on to. Treasurer's reports.
Okay. You get that discussed. We did a simplified financial pretty quickly. We do have the QuickBooks summary that Kim was nice enough to share with me. I went ahead and took the other ones that she had sent and tried to summarize that as best I could to kind of break it down a little bit faster. Jennifer had said she wanted more of a bullet point presentation than the huge spreadsheet. So long story short, income, the fundraising, we had a lot of good response off the annual appeal letter, which is where that $6,000 comes from. And then so we have close to $7,000 in income. We're still waiting, of course, for the 95,000 from the town and the state and county funding.
The 95 should be here next week. I contacted PJ and they said that it hasn't been cut already. It will be cut on Monday.
Good. That's nice. That's good to hear. So as far as expenses, pretty much keeping track, we're like 45 days in. And you can see the annual, we're like 9,000 spent, goes down 80,000 annual for operating expenses and payrolls, utilities, repairs and programs. We do the programs, we a little bit, right about where we should be based upon the annual expenses of 19,350.
Just so you know, the programming, that number
Mhm.
is for everything, not just programs, but events. It's for movies and books and supplies.
Yeah,
So that's why it's.
Yeah.
Well, these are repaired.
well, ebooks are like $1,400 and books themselves are $400 and museum subscriptions are, that's another $324. So it adds up.
The heating went up. That's because the utilities are up.
Yeah.
Oil expenses.
Heating oil is budgeted for $3,500 this year.
And so, I mean,
We've already, well, we only spent 133, so excuse me, 1339.79. But how big is the tank here?
That's a good question.
I mean, I have to deal, I had to do recently with my church. I got 1,000-gallon tank and a 275 on the two buildings that we've got. So I don't know.
I have no clue. I'm sorry.
So you recently had a fill though for about $1,300.
I think that's for two fills.
so, yes, well, it was like January, February, the months. And what you meant.
If you're getting about 300 gallons, it's about $4.50 a gallon right now. At least that's what the church is paying. Huh? Okay, it's not what Larrabee was bidding. I don't know who y'all use, but they told me.
So yeah, that's two bills, October, January and February, one
Okay.
for $5.79 and the other for $7.16.
So even though we put more in the budget, we may still be.
Well, remember, this is just for this half, and then the budget goes and they start filling back again in October.
That's exactly what Jennifer is saying.
Right, that's what I said.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
good thing.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. All right, never mind.
Yeah, it would be nice to know how big the tank is, just because as you get towards April and May, you can kind of say, look, don't fill us up, we'll wait until the fall.
I can see how many gallons they put in based on their seats.
Yeah,
I can find out.
That's the, yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of you're trying to budget it towards the end of the year. trying to make sure you have that 3,500 because for a facility this size, I think 3,500 is a little low. Because our church, we spent 4,800. But it's a big old church. It's not older building.
I'll find that out.
Yeah, just to, and who do we deal with? Morse?
Like an hour. Landing hour,
Okay,
they're in over.
Good to work with. They really are.
I like H&L, but that's.
The. Oh, how, no, electricity is going up, it has like quadruple, yeah. Even everybody is quadruple, it's actually.
Yeah.
Concerning. But yeah.
No,
that's-
what's interesting is there's nothing shown for electricity in the year to date. I got heating oil 1339. I have no electricity.
That was another topic on the whole, on the Facebook groups, basically about how crazy electric bills are right now. And nobody can figure out why, and it sounds like everybody calls, and if you can get somebody to talk to, they can't give you a straight answer.
I just have a weird situation where I get a bill for nothing and then 2 months later I get a really big one
Yeah.
and the next one I get nothing and.
Depends,
I have no idea why that's.
depends when they read it versus when they estimate.
Yeah, but it didn't used to be that way.
They estimate like every 2 months, then they actually read it on the third month.
They have new software. Is what they, both NYSEG and Central have said that they're using new software and it's not working.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Let's be glad the Central Hudson is like double what y'all pay here. Down there, it's stupid expensive down in Green, down in Green County, double what we pay here.
so we haven't, the reason, our NICEAG bill was $188 for February, and the reason it's not on the P and L is because I haven't put it through as paid yet. I
Okay.
got it in as a bill,
That makes sense. Okay, that's fine.
so, and then. January. So I don't. know.
Okay.
And they said that they're gonna cut that check from the city, the town on Monday, but Monday's present.
Well, they said like
So it's Monday.
Or this week, so, no,
it's coming week, but I think.
maybe it was Wednesday. Was it's not, was a holiday?
Yeah,
Yeah, President's Day.
and then it's a whole week of kids on.
Oh, I know. Okay, school. Let's see, he says, hopefully the checks will be written if the bank increases our deposit limit. This was on February 15th, if not, it will be on Wednesday, so then Wednesday.
So, I think we'll get through, our finance 101 class, because maybe we'll learn more stuff that we wanna. Boy, incorporate at that point, as well.
You just tell me what totals you want and I'll put them in there.
Okay, yeah. I know.
Just this idea of saying I need general better bullet points. I'm like, yeah. You tell me exactly what you want
Okay.
and we'll make it work.
All right, I will do that, but I do think I don't know.
Right, it's hard to ask for what you don't know.
And I don't know a lot about like
The finance
how.
one, yeah.
people do
Well,
this.
this is a QuickBooks summary here.
Yes, yes.
This guy.
Yeah.
And they are hard to decipher. And Kim does a great job in working me through them. I've gone to QuickBooks as well to look at it. We can break down income. I think income this way, operations, fundraising, and other income, that kind of makes sense.
Mhm, yeah,
That's your
yeah,
three things.
Yes,
Expenses, we do need to break down a little bit more than just 5 categories.
right, but it is good, I mean, those are kind of the ones that it's like, okay.
Yeah,
Where are we
yeah,
tracking?
yeah.
On the special projects account, right now. One thing, that's an area where I wanna skip through our training, if there's more to consider on that, but. So right now, we have 3 categories of items that are in that we're saving.
When I go to Capcom, it doesn't break them out.
No, it's not gonna.
Well, okay.
So we've got painting, repairs and special projects, and I think, high level painting, there's 10,000 earmarked for, repairs, 5,000, and special project, I guess, 35,000. So that's what's like currently in those buckets, and if you recall the budget each year, so this year we would be putting 2,000 into painting, 2,500 into repairs, 1,500 into special projects. And I believe special projects is so high because when we've had balance, unexpended funds this year, we put that over into that. So right now, what I wanted to just ask a question, which is, so right now, the money market regular savings, so regular savings
Mhm.
has the like 30,000 in there, right?
31, 308.
At what point and you have regular savings, so at what point do we do something about that?
The time when we did that was we put, money from the annual appeal into the special projects, so that's why it's so high, is because for 2 years in a row, we put annual appeal money. So there, so we never really, I mean, took it out, that was just something that Nettie said, let's do it this way. I'm gonna do it, and everyone's sure. So we can do whatever you want, if you want to put more money into there, you can, and usually do it at the beginning of the year, so usually like January, February,
So there's nothing that regular savings is intended to be used for?
that's our operating, like, so that's what we transfer money.
You sweep over to the checking.
I mean, the business savings, the second category?
No,
No,
the money market.
regular
Oh, the money market, that's
Yeah.
regular savings, okay.
That's for everything.
That's like a sweep. Okay, so what amount do we need to keep in there? What is the amount that should be in that?
Well, the 95 is gonna go into that
Okay.
once we get the check.
Yeah.
So as soon as we get the check, the 95 will go in, and so.
Yeah, it's good to have it healthy, so
Mhm.
that, because we have these automatic sweeps going on, and
Right.
we wanna make sure that everything's there, but I mean, 95 is very healthy.
So I'm wondering, like, is there a point where we transfer some of that? And we don't do it today, I'm saying, and then into special projects. And what I'm thinking is, as we are hammering down into the weeds, no, mixing that, whatever.
I went to a vestry meeting last night, so let's not push it here. I didn't know you could hammer weeds, but if you figure out how to hammer weeds, let me know. I had a lot at my house. So what you would prefer to limit what's in the money market regular savings?
It's not that I wanna limit it, I'm just wondering, like,
Where do we have access to money for the,
what should we use that, what should the amount be, and at what point do we say that is truly extra money that we should have put into category, because I think what we're gonna need to do for the special project is get more detailed on, okay, here's our window, we're saving for a new roof, it's 10-year window, we wanna build up to here, here's our thing, here's that line up, here's for the other thing, here's for the grant matches that we're hoping for, and really have a
and
plan.
map it out over time
Yeah.
as well.
So now the money market, Kim, makes interest, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so, but you're
Not
still
much.
able to move, well, $200 a year, you're still able to move it back and forth.
And
Right?
interest on January was.
It was $40, yeah. Better than a kick in the head.
Um,
It's Texas expression, excuse me.
What I would think you want to do is, you know what your projected operating budget for the year. You
Yeah,
probably put in a contingency, whatever percent. And then allocate whatever's coming in over that to where you can put it in accounts. There's one of them.
That makes sense.
but there's hardly anything that comes in over that. Well,
So,
our budget
I
is
mean,
like, our
then-
budget is like, you
Well,
know,
I'm saying-
flat line.
Then you wouldn't be putting.
Yeah, you wouldn't have it.
money somewhere else.
No, you wouldn't.
You're planning on spending it.
Yeah, yeah.
So as long as it's earning, 0.75 interest. or whatever, it's steady.
Alright, so I think we'll continue to evolve this, but I think that's the.
And that's what more basic. Fatten up the library's conference based upon fattening up the town.
Yeah, and then sell them a defibrillator.
My own teenagers are gonna love it for us.
Alright, so on that subject, I believe we're moving on to fundraising. So the bake sale did very, very well. Thank you to many people in this room, including Richard, Sarah, Scott, for baking and and pricing. Aggressively.
I was the aggressive pricer.
Sarah's at the table, people are looking at you, how much does it cost? And Sarah's going, how hungry?
Are you the one that set up the pot stand outside?
Anyway, so we made $677. It's really shocking to me. So it was great. So thank you really to everybody. Did we send out thank you emails to bakers?
If we need you, the answer is clearly no. The answer is still.
Bakers, we will send out a thank you.
Sure.
Well, most of the bakers are here. I think.
I think there were three people.
We need it because that was over and
Yeah.
B, whatever the term is. Yeah, she's above and beyond.
Love and yes.
Your mom.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Carly is.
Melanie, right? You don't need to send us.
No, we're fine.
Yeah. We're good.
I was just amazed how much they sold for.
Yeah,
My church is like, really?
so it was a fundraiser.
Well, no, I mean, they trust me, the church.
Well, and everything's more expensive on Valentine's Day weekend.
We're running off the pandemic shortages. We have cupcakes for 25 cents.
Yeah, that was a different animal.
So one thing I'd like to propose though, so since that was kind of a nice chunk of change, rather than just letting that kind of drift into our general funds, could we earmark this, agree to earmark this for landscaping? Because we could put this money, the 2,500 from Alice Worthy that was donated in 2021 specifically for landscaping. And we have $500 in the budget for landscaping. We
We
might
could
actually
actually
be able to
do
do some
something, yeah.
landscaping. Also last year we had $200 donated for mulch, which we spent, but we can try that again. And I know that Bjork's donated money for the time we was spent on this. So, I just think that might help us actually get something done this year.
I think it's a great idea together, because we're always bemoaning the state of things and never finding people to take care of it, and if we have money, we will find people to take care of it.
So I guess we have one.
It's in project specific, so we're allowed to move it around as we wish. It's in project specific fundraising.
So
Landscaping is landscaping in projects officially.
I think like we would just be putting it into our operating.
yeah, it'll stay there. We'll just make sure we know that that's how much we have to spend.
Because we only, the fun part is we only budgeted $1,000 for landscaping.
I thought we had 500 landscaping.
Why?
Do we have it? I might have,
Yeah, we have,
have,
I think we have, to because the, we know we're gonna have to do something.
so that's good, so we can really maybe just.
If you wanted to, with the merchandise from the sale, as well as, well, how much?
Yeah, actually,
$40.70.
Because we bought bags to give away at the next new.
So it was $140 that we made.
okay, well, that's how much you made. Wasted it.
So the total amount that came in for the Valentine's Day stuff was $710.58.
What's your total amount of money?
That's not bad at all for a one-day fundraiser.
Yeah, no, it's-
So do you want to put 700 into the earmark then for the landscaping?
my recollection is we were getting bids for about $20,000.
You say $22,000?
I started
Oh.
at 20. I was like 2,200, 2,500 for.
Yeah, I think they're.
So it's like more sort of numbers that were floating around. We were making. I think it seemed expensive.
Yeah, except they're all sort of starting to be in that.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Progressively Zemas is the normal price these days.
just twice it seemed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go through the process again. Plans and a plan for what we actually wanna do. But. Because I know, yeah, it was way more than $2,500, because I remember. I had to tell us, I'm sorry, we can't, we want us to use your donation to do this, but the estimates are. We can't supplement that match it, so. Okay, so that sounds good, so we'll put 700, right, towards landscape. Okay, so we talked about power merchandise sale. So team night, we've received $150 for the donations for that, all library related folks, so thank you. But I thought what might be nice is if we have pictures from this week's team night. We can promote that online, and then we can include like a thank you to the people who donated, and if you want to.
We could send that into the press too.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah. Routine night, it's,
And mentioning that we take donations to
right,
underwrite it.
right, yeah.
Okay. I was seeing that we're gonna do. We're gonna just have fun building with lots of different things that we have in the library, and then we've got. Ups from when we used to do stack challenges, which was a long time ago, we haven't done that in a while, so I'm gonna have some games where. They have to build the tallest towers, such amount of time, first prize, and then we have building blocks and. And Legos, and the kids seem to think that it's great when kids go back to when they were like, little. So I think we'll have fun with all that stuff, so. it should be good.
Great.
And Rebecca will not be there, but Jessica Rotten will be there. So. Oh, okay. So I'm not on my own.
Did my donation go through?
Yes.
Oh, it did, because I thought it didn't.
You should have a note. Or, no, yours too, Leslie, sorry, I'm looking at you, that wasn't. No, it didn't,
It didn't, okay, all right, so it will be 200.
so it didn't, it was a.
It's some
Because
weird part of it, I don't know yet.
One last fundraising idea. So. In the
That's
next.
the way to build up on it.
Yeah.
Unasked.
So in the next month or so, we have a fair number of programs, and we have things like the Easter party and things where we had a lot of people. Last year we did a raffle on the Easter party. We did just at the Easter party, but it was popular, and we heard from people who wanted to do it.
Oh, right.
And it was like local products and stuff. So I was thinking if we were to get our acts together and start to have that out in the library as a raffle, in time for the brunch. Where we have people coming in, and maybe say the drawing will be at the annual meeting. Or something, not that they have to go to attend the annual meeting, but, we would catch the Easter party, we would catch music. The brunch, and maybe we would get some benefit there.
And it's a raffle of local products, you said?
Yeah, we did like pork fat fowl, we did wine,
As soon as you say there's alcohol in it, people are like. Go straight to it. It's true, yeah, I think that there were a lot of people who were like, oh, I would have paid for this, I would have done this too, we missed a lot.
I think we had the Mario's gift certificate too, or was that?
we might have, we did some, yeah.
They ask local artists for stuff. I can do a bowl with 2 bottles of maple syrup. And we'll serve it.
That would be good. Maybe we can do a book. And do you think it should be separate items then, like separate?
Why don't you have two baskets?
Depending on how much stuff you get.
Yeah, depending on what you get,
Okay,
just figure it out.
I would do at least one
One.
or 2, but not, I would do separate.
Oh, no, like a grab bag type thing, like candy and booze and
Yeah, well, that's
maple
what-
syrup.
Actually, but we did it, oh gosh, what was that? Trying to think which function, I think it was the car show up at the firehouse.
Right, yeah,
They had different gifts and then people bought tickets and kept them in.
yeah,
That's one way of doing it.
yeah.
That becomes a lot of work.
Maybe do something else.
I would do it so that you can pay a piece of for each ticket.
Mhm.
If you don't use many people, we still.
And then winner takes all, sorry?
Yep.
So I will coordinate, but can some people volunteer to ask to do the begging? If you have a connection somewhere.
We can join coffee.
I was gonna.
I can ask Mario's again if they know the certificate, they're getting very sick of me, but they seem to be willing to do it each time.
Okay.
And I could ask Fort Powell too.
You talk to the maple syrup people, the Atoka people, talk to them. Government, Atoka.
Well, if we have Scott giving us maple syrup, do you wanna do that one or do you wanna?
It's just, I mean,
What about Larry's popcorn and all the things that we discussed?
we got Mavericks down in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave's might get a gift certificate.
They don't do gift certificates.
Tell them we'll keep the health department out of
They
there.
will donate stuff though, they'll donate.
I can imagine what they would donate. That's cheers, Velveeta. It's just whistling a lot.
Worth asking.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll ask them too if you want.
So you're looking like for gift certificates or actual scoop,
Yeah,
because Angel's Trumpet might want to give something.
oh, that's a good idea.
And also Blueberry Hill. Or El Norte for that matter.
Well, usually Norte is, they're usually give us something.
Okay, and that's the same bunch as all as Blueberry Hills. So.
They ever sell it?
No.
I know she took the sign down. Yeah.
Oh, shoot, no.
I haven't seen it recently, so. Yeah.
What's the
Good.
trumpet place called again?
Angels.
Angel's Trumpet, yeah.
Has anybody developed a relationship with, or do you want me to ask, TBS? Is it TBS? TBA.
Oh,
Did anybody ever develop a relationship there, or?
not really.
I'll ask them.
Oh, that's not bad.
That'd be great.
And what about M&M's, got me asked there too?
Sure. I'll have my mom ask at the farmer's market.
Richard, do you have a contact at Angel's Trumpet?
I worked with the church. We always.
So are we looking for them to give? like-
Scott said you're gonna do what?
They can maybe give a flower arrangement or a plant or I'll see what they're interested in.
We make maple syrup. And so I was putting 2 bottles of maple syrup in a bowl
Okay.
and a little pitcher.
Nice. So I'm thinking I could ask Kathy Benson, who lived in Stephentown for what, 40 years or whatever. She was in Williamsburg now, but she stopped doing pottery, and she emptied out her store.
Oh,
I could ask her,
okay.
but I won't duplicate I'll ask her for 2 months or something, like something different. But I don't wanna step on your toes or duplicate your stuff, but she might give something. Okay.
So we should have, I think, a goal of having this done, stuff out, and have a raffle set up before March 12th, so.
So we can get people to buy in on March 12th.
Yeah.
And then we'll run it through like for a month kind of thing,
Have we requested any free tickets to the Clark? Or-
Well, I was gonna see if we get free tickets to Bedford Hall.
Oh,
We
yeah,
haven't-
okay.
Alright,
I think we
and I
have
can
that.
ask Olivia to, I'll put it in like somebody else's name, so it's not mine, but I'll make sure Olivia does that.
Give them free tickets during March, it's free anyway.
But we're drawing it in April.
Tell them it's free last month, sorry.
The rest of the year, it's $20 so.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
pricey.
once you take out the library pass, right, it's one of those things.
Okay, cool, thank you, everybody. Hopefully that'll-
I'll check with Ventford Hall and Angel's Trumpet. Does anybody know anybody at Mavericks, which is the coffee shop down in New Lebanon? I don't know anybody.
I
there.
don't know anybody, but.
But we have
it's
Gibble.
super- yeah.
Huh?
We have Gibble.
Yeah.
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 The Mavericks might give a gift certificate. for
Yeah.
breakfast.
I also wonder if, coffee actually, because if we have, if it's like sitting out. I
Well,
wonder if
Could you just give us a bag and then we'll fill the coffee?
Perfect. Yeah, I'll stuff it with something. It looks like.
Sand or Play-Doh or.
Gunpowder.
Remember to, you know,
Put gunpowder.
remember to replace it. Exactly. We love it. Try to make coffee with it. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea, because otherwise it wouldn't be.
I'm gonna ask Dave's if they would actually give us like wine or something. So that- and then.
Dave sold wine?
Yeah.
Well, they sell booze.
There's
Oh, yeah.
all kinds of booze.
And
Keeps
then
them in
I would
business.
ask PM, oh, and maybe, does anybody know anybody at Roaring Twenties?
I've never been.
No, me neither. I don't really understand. what it means. It's just, I don't
It-
know.
They're very strange hours during the winter. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
I know, believe it or not, my priest goes there. It's the only person I know that said he's been there, so
Oh.
he owes me a few favors.
And last time Pam got us some, Alderdash.
Oh, yeah.
I'll ask her. Get her. Okay, good, thanks everybody. Okay. How's fundraising? Strategic planning, that'll be in April, right?
Yeah.
Major projects. I think we're gonna go well, but I'll give the highlight and then you can. Huh? So, holidays, you may not recall, because I think this happened in October or August or sometimes, there's a slow move right. We had gone back to him and said, we need to prepare this back, we need to give some other focus, what can we do, and how do we start to look at this in a grand full fashion. So we came back with, some proposals, and I guess as with everything right now, you know, one, costs are going up. So he updated some of the costs, and he had sort of two estimates based on, what we had said we thought might be, priorities. And broke it out so that we could see what we would have to do in terms of grant funding and our matching funding. And what he proposed, and this is in the file, so was phase 3 of his original plan, which was on the original building. The roof needs to be redone in the near future. So the phase 3 originally was gonna be a roof, it was gonna be reconfiguration, mechanical, electrical upgrades, etc. That got pared down to just the roof. For the purposes of this, and the cost estimate has gone up from 35,000 to 43,000. The phase 4 grouping of things included this meeting room renovation, deck expansion, arbor work and tree trimming that was related to that, some landscaping. That got pared back, the meeting room renovations, basically, and that. So with what he proposed, he ended up with a project total of those items, so group meeting at $135,000, which would mean if we got the grant funding, we would have to match and come up with about $34,000. Which is more than what we were really thinking we could manage, which was 25,000. So he presented a couple options to say, well, we could kind of skip doing the roof for now, put that off for a little bit. Consider just the other changes. We took a little time to think about what he sent us and look at what that would really deliver for us, and also look at some of the specifics of if we don't do things in the if we don't do full proposals and we don't do some of the order ways, what do we lose? So in other words, if this doesn't get done, which means, you know, the changes in the main library aren't done, then the changes in the meeting room aren't exactly the same as proposed, and what does that mean? And we realized that we weren't really sure that what these proposals were was gonna work for us. And we need more time to think through what is really gonna be, what's not. And really play out in a more detailed way, the planning and the phasing in terms of when things will get done, when we know. Like roof repair, HVAC replacements, things like that are coming up in a timeline, and where our money is in that. Scoping that out as well. So, so,
Well, you were not in the meeting, that we
That's-
had
that's-
subsequent, yeah.
And then shot an email.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what it was.
So in other words, if we put off the roof, but we know we still have to do that in a 5-year window approximately, if we still spend $25,000 in 2 years,
How are we gonna pay the roof?
how are we gonna pay for the roof if we're not able to replenish those funds in that amount of time? So we really need to have those elements laid out together so that we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. that
So
all of
what
a
the
sudden
longer term
we're-
costs are and the likelihood of when they'll be coming due.
Yeah.
So we talked about actually having somebody come and look at the roof and see what kind of. So if I ask Kirk to do that, he charges us just to take a look, but it's not, he doesn't charge anything, because he would do the work if we.
He gets free, yes.
Got it, okay, all right. Next, I'll see him tomorrow.
Okay, great, let him win.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to call me to set up a time, then he needs to get in the building or whatnot.
Okay, cool.
So part of what they had, you know, in the master plan documents that they delivered to us already, they had certain estimates in terms of, you know, when that roof repair would need to be done, when the one furnace is probably going to be replaced. And some of those are rather short-term items in terms of how long it would take us to build up the funds to do that, so.
And some of them are more likely to be covered, under a grant and others not.
Right.
So that's the other.
Right.
We can't really argue for a grant for this, but we can for this, so how do we kind of work that?
And an example of that too, where it's like, is this the right path to go? So for the roof, in order to make that grantable and worthy, it would have to include insulation, which has already been done.
That we don't need.
So it's like, you know,
Which is why we're more interested in putting it off if we can.
Right.
Because that seems silly.
so others trying.
But we wanna make sure the roof isn't good enough, and that the insulation's not being damaged.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we bring Kirk in and see if we can do that. But it does seem like a double. We don't want to do the roof, put more installation. I don't know that it's gonna be worthwhile, but.
Who put the original installation in?
We'd have to ask Tom and Anita, who did all of that.
Do you know how long ago it was?
It happened right when so 2017, I think.
So it's fairly new.
Was that like?
The green
did, yeah, like
something or other, yeah, they did a bunch of work here. But I'm not sure who they were,
yeah.
I'm sure I can like dig through some others and find them, but.
So I think the net is we're looking to go back more to the long range planning, plugging dates on things are going to have to be done, and then retrofit what makes sense to do based on that. Because
Budgeting that way.
And truly looking at what's grant writable.
Right.
Not that's.
I mean, it's the all your probably. You know, your heating unit, your roof, probably options. Just look.
to be doing on, yeah.
And chances are the numbers that. All. Just put it down in the file. We play grabs for the area of roof. he provided a really high number.
Yeah.
Now granted, he was talking about a metal roof.
And, yeah.
As by way of comparison, I priced a roof for my house earlier on,
Mhm.
which was with solar shingles. And that was about $60,000, and I've got a lot more roof than you guys have here.
And did it include insulation?
No,
So,
but it was a solar system.
yeah, yeah.
Which had over 20, which meant they were giving me a price of about $40,000 for a roof, and I've got like sprawling in place, which like crazy, a crazy
Right,
amount of
right.
roof.
Yeah,
So my suspicion is, if you're just replacing that roof, if you just went to a roof of like a normal,
yeah.
you know, shingles,
Yeah.
so it could be substantially less.
Yeah.
Which isn't gonna say, which isn't saying that it's more than we want to spend, but it's just.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that.
Yeah, we just had part of our roof done at the church, by the garage, and I think it was about the size of this and about 3,500 for that. That was just repairing, but there was no damage to any wood or anything. It was just all new shingle.
Yeah, and that's the big question too, is if there's damage, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, so,
As far as we know, you don't see any work coming through, or sleeping in the ceiling. We've got a number of ceilings.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
I'm not so sure that it's anything that the,
42,000 does seem a little high.
yeah, no,
Do you guys like who did the work?
They just did it today, and from what I can tell, one of our members is an engineer, and I'm still reading the 3-page summary. About how long it took and how many coffee breaks they took, et cetera, et cetera. You have to know this guy, he is a piece of work.
I feel
But
like
no,
every-
from what I can tell, it's, everybody's very happy with it, so.
Maybe we'll reach out.
Yeah, it's, we used Phelps down in Skoda,
Okay.
and they were very, very good, very professional. They knocked it out in 6 hours, so. I mean,
We've got bulk of the work. Capital green building.
So. More to come.
yeah, we just put, what do you think about what they gave us for a price of renovation here plus the additional cool conference room, the kitchen. They gave you a price of about 45,000.
the meeting room update is 48.
So you're talking about $50,000 and 75-25 cash. We're talking about probably $15,000 for this particular project.
That's without putting the other. According to this, meeting room renovation, no Soho, and the Soho is the.
Oh, is that what they're calling the small meeting kitchenette? That's called Soho.
I don't know if that's sure.
I'm looking
But
at
then
the,
that doesn't make sense because the big part of the renovation was all of that.
Yeah, so maybe then that's not what.
no, I
the
think,
Soho is.
I have no idea what Soho would mean.
I thought it was including that.
I
That's
think
all
so,
right.
yeah,
I'll
because they're gonna put the,
substitute
they're gonna put the kitchenette and the
Let me see.
small meeting and kitchenette back there, and then this room, totally a meeting room.
Yeah, no, okay, so the 48's gotta be from both,
Yeah,
the two rooms.
But that's no furniture.
No.
I mean, it's like.
No
that's the other
furniture,
thing,
yeah,
it's like-
Like,
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna convene again. Talk about some other ideas, talk about some other, what, given some of our other short-term needs. How do we also allocate funds for that and still be trying to plan for matching things?
And we wanted to get all back in for more of a working session once we had,
Yeah.
yeah.
Any other thoughts and questions on that? Okay, buildings and grounds. Really very tied into that conversation, and then we talked about the landscaping, so. Does anybody have any other ideas who to reach out to for landscaping?
I don't know any others. Yeah, I don't.
I might, Ed and Nan Weaver have a really good landscaper, they said,
Okay,
and I can't remember his name. I've got it somewhere.
Okay.
I'll check it out.
Alright.
Cause Zima's like at the top end of the scale, they're just
Yes,
stupid.
he just said he would give us a bit of a break if we decided to go with him.
Right, right.
Right, yeah.
It depends on how many new shrubs you want, all that. I mean, that just kills, that jacks it up real fast, but. I mean, I'll check with the Weavers and see if they can remember.
Rebecca has the other people that we asked.
Andrew's maintenance.
And there's,
Yeah, that was all those, but
yeah, but there's some, I feel like there was one other that we had, but I don't know who it was. I'd have to get some names.
okay, from Mark.
The SML program survey that we put together to determine what people like the best, what they're looking for, is complete, and a number of you guys tested it for me, so that was great, thanks very much. I've cleared out the test data now, and it's ready to send out to the broadest contact list that you have. I think you're working on figuring out how to dedupe the card holders from the rest of the list. I included a few questions in there that can help us with the architectural project, hopefully, and other potential grants, just so that we can get some data on how many people want to see changes to the library structure, would be interested in the deck, things like that. So we're ready to move on that, and I'll write a report once we get the data in. I know I keep going on about Ellen Cole like it's a big, but I'm concerned because we reached out to the community and people said they were interested, and then she just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So
I just emailed her back this morning. So.
yeah, as well. But the weird thing was, she then asked me again, can you find me 7 or 8 people? No, I mean, I thought we already set this thing up for you to meet with the seniors, and I thought that she had found people, so I'm confused by it, but anyway,
I'm not sure. I don't know.
so I just think we need to either get a yes, and she's got the people, or close the loop with people that said yes, so that they're not feeling like, what the hell, yeah. We already talked about the cabin fever brunch. I'm gonna go and get bagels and cream cheese from that really good bagel place in Great Barrington. And you know, anybody that can come and mingle would be great. That would be really nice.
Kim has agreed to put up some corporate staff and put together some special displays as well, so that we have highlight some stuff that people might not know the library has. Like, you know, do a little seed library, different things that they might not be aware of, or maybe spring some related, you know.
And that's basically it. Bagel brunch. We've already covered the Valentine's Day bake sale and the landscaping things. Yeah, that's it.
Recruitment, so we still need recruit 2 people. We had, it was unfortunate, the woman that Kim was mentioning earlier, we talked her up yesterday, about the board, or the day before, and she was here, encouraging her to try to come tonight, to see what it was all about, and then she emailed the next day.
Oh, no, I saw her text it.
And yeah, and she would be out at night, such, yeah, so.
She was concerned about also, you know, people, and she's still wearing the last one, whatever, you know, maybe, but. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I had asked Mary Trev as well, because she has a library background, and
Oh, yeah,
and she said she's kind of interested, but she has a macular degeneration thing, and she isn't comfortable driving at night, so it's like. And also, I would assume reading isn't the greatest.
What about Richard? Mary Trev's partner?
Oh.
I mean, he's an author and he's got a library background.
I think he's really busy with all the Ollie stuff, but
That's right, he started doing the author.
Okay, youth committee.
We have the Easter party on the books for the 8th. We have a meeting on the 3rd to plan. And PJ had emailed Jen to suggest,
Yeah.
or just an idea that Kim would take over the payroll for the town, or payroll for Cam for the town, and, long story short, no, they have no show. Kim had a lot of really good reasons, and we all said that's, we
It would
agree.
have added hundred hours to my. time, and it
Yeah.
would have meant a lot of bookkeeping work.
Yeah.
ADP would have charged us more, it would have cost us money honestly, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of audacious request, isn't it?
Well, he framed it like, wouldn't this be a fun idea?
I bet he did. All the more funny.
Maybe it would be easier. if you
Yeah,
guys
he
did
said,
it.
No, let's
For sure.
you would certainly would.
It's easier on him. Yeah.
So anyways, that's not happening.
Good.
And the only other thing is that, they're having a Berlin Family Fun Day 5K on the 29th of April. And they offer that we can go from local libraries, so Kim and I are gonna meet about what we will bring there. And what we'll promote. And stuff we'll learn, so
Actually, we should bring scholarship applications with us.
great.
Yeah, because they can't bring for that. Yeah, because it is, it's for Bob as well, right? So. Yeah, we can have notes.
Yeah, we'll find.
It's on my calendar.
Do you think you'll need people for both events, the 8th and the?
I think on the 8th, we will need volunteers, I'm planning to talk to Rebecca about how to do that. I'm just kidding, but get her a list of contact.
Okay.
But I think that April 29th. I think we could just, the two of us could do it. Yeah. And you said you're gonna go do the 5K, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
so I'll be there. but-
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, so that's it for the mission.
We're already getting questions about some. Just, I guess now's the time. I've never sent my kids to summer camps, so I don't know, but I guess now's the time to sign them up, so.
And maybe we should talk about the dates because of 4th of July, right?
Well, I think we had talked about starting the second week of July, like to the first week of August, which I think so. But yeah, maybe we should plan our first meeting sooner rather than later. Just to-
Yeah, we can.
I mean, not
Always have
super
that
soon.
memorized.
Maybe after.
Actually, I'm gonna need it for summer food when we, because I'm gonna need to tell them when we're gonna do summer food.
And that's
So,
April 30th.
no, she'll be sending out the applications for that within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
And that will be due.
So you need the dates for that.
I'll need the dates. Normally I just say, I just put them in, but now because of 4th of July and where it is, we have to decide. So.
Well, I think
Seems like a time.
let's just start with the 10th and
Amazing.
that sounds.
July 10th.
Yeah.
And then how many weeks is it?
4 weeks. So the last day would be on the 4th of August.
Oh, I don't know, what is it? I couldn't read the paper the other day.
Oh, I'll look into it. I'll go. Remind me of how to read it. If it is, I'll call.
Cool, okay, administrative committee, let's kind of pause and let Patty, if you have anything to add. We need to review Sandy's comments on the internet policy and. Make our final.
I do not have anything to add.
So I think we need to just, as we reform our committees and such, figure out how we're gonna move, some of these things forward. But, I know Sandy is also, was gonna be away for quite a while, so.
Yeah.
Reconvene on that. Okay, old business, so we have to vote on the Juneteenth holiday and the annual meeting date, so, we had agreed in principle last time that we would add Juneteenth as a library holiday, as it is now a federal holiday.
So,
And then April, no, was it on April, 16? Thank you, yeah, April 16, 4 p.m. is the meeting.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. So can I get a motion?
Is it both or do you have to do each one separate?
Let's just do both together.
I'll make a motion that we adopt both of those things.
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded.
Wait, what was it? What was it?
I knew that was coming. I don't know why.
So,
Holiday in April 14th, annual.
we're just doing them together.
Okay, April 16th, I guess.
I just made a move to like, do what Jen said.
Do it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I feel like the things we vote on are like the least consequential things that we talk about and do. It's odd to me. Not a
Just like
parliamentarian or whatever.
That's,
Who seconded it? Sorry,
Richard.
I did,
Thank you.
thank you.
The other old business, I'm not actually sure we talked about it last time, but it's old and then it's not new. Library.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to get into doing all of that stuff. So I got very long list. Okay, so it has to get. How that worked on.
So what's the?
Yeah, it's
That
all
little
over.
bit boom. In one of the storms.
About that, I did know that.
Yeah,
So we were gonna talk to Amanda Despard and her family about putting it somewhere else. And in the meantime, putting up a sign that says, come on in and take books, and this can be your free library until we have the other one.
maybe she turn next to it.
Exactly.
Help us rebuild the little free library.
Yeah, that's on. That's
We probably will need to, know when the tent is going up to get that out of there, out of the way. Because the tent is in there in a heap,
Yeah.
and then this is jammed in there about as tight as you can get it, next to it, so.
Okay.
I'm gonna need some Crisco and some strong people.
Sorry, I'm having a real hard time getting a visual picture. In fact, I don't think I want a visual picture.
All right.
All right, I unmoved.
Can we strike that one from the record? Jury, pay no attention.
Any other? There's no public, so there's no public comment. New business. So I wanted to bring up an idea and see what people thought about this. So our bylaws. We don't have to meet every month. We could meet every other month. And I know it's a lot of people have busy lives and all of that. So I wanted to just throw out the idea, do people feel like they would be able to be more engaged, prepared, enthusiastic, whatever, to meet every other month versus every month. The one thing I would say as a caveat for that is if we were to consider that, like we would have to be super disciplined because we have to get the work done in that month. And we'd have to be very careful if because of budget schedules and things like that, that we would have to make sure that we have a forum for that meeting if we have our ability to get that work done. But if people felt like it would be more manageable, if that would allow for the off month to be a month where committees could meet for working sessions, things like that. I wanted to just sort of put that out there for discussion and consideration. And it can be something people think about, and then we can reconvene on it, but. I know it's a lot, and it's hard with the committees, and a lot of us are doing several of them, and it's, to meet about that, and then do this and prepare your report.
My worry is just that what will happen is everybody will just put everything off to the last minute, and we'll be in the same situation we are now, except for there's a lot more that we need to get to, and it won't happen. I mean, theoretically, I love it. But practically, I don't know that it's gonna work. You sort of have to keep it in your head that, okay, that every month I have to do this at this point in time, or I do anyway. And I just think things will slip.
It doesn't seem like attendance at monthly meetings is an issue
No,
so much,
I
so.
I would agree with that.
So is the idea more just that the committees need more commitment or? Like, I mean, I feel like the monthly meeting. Has anyone said having a monthly meeting is an issue?
No, I mean.
So is it more about finding a, like, maybe we just need a second night? Every other month that people are committed to that night, and it's a committee night or something?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well,
I kinda feel like-
for example, you and I need to meet on the ELIO to see, how that will work and how what we need to do on that. We haven't gotten there yet, but as far as this meeting, I think we need to have it every month, certainly from a financial standpoint, just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, because if we have utilities going up, doubling,
Yeah.
all that good stuff, and it starts getting out of, if we're 60 days out,
Right.
then you kind of lose track of it. So I would be I would not want to do it less than, once a month.
Or should we have? Every other month is a really quick brief meeting, from 7 to 8, and then 8 to 9 is
I don't,
opportunity for committee.
I don't think it's broke, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's not broke, but I also kind of feel like maybe the committee part is like,
Right.
so it's like,
Yeah.
there's two different things.
Yes.
Right.
You
yeah,
know,
Yeah, there's.
so
I
like
think-
the monthly meetings are working, but we need to figure out how to make the committees work.
I think that is part of it, like how do we move some of the committee work along and, our people committed, but because we're happy, because we have that, and it's the best use of the time, would there be a better working opportunity? And I think that all committees are different too, there's some that are, like longer established, like the youth commission, longer established, and you kind of have your own scheduled things, and it's very much around the different events, and things like that, and it's sort of got its own thing. But some of the other ones are a little bit harder to move things along in, or, so I don't know, just, like I said, I know everyone's doing a lot, and everyone has busy lives, so what's our best way of being able to do this?
I think we should think about it and try to come back to the next meeting with some ideas.
That sounds good.
I mean, to me, the one committee that is really suffering is the policy stuff.
That's just
and
hard to do.
It's hard to do, and we just need to set up a organized time that people meet and deal with it.
Should we,
It's the, I don't, like, I'm not saying the most serious, like, it's sort of like the most serious, like, hard work.
Yes.
document?
You
know,
Yeah.
Very legalese, yeah. It's just-
Just like, talking about.
No.
Could we potentially set up a, like, board work meeting, like, as needed, so we need a policy meeting, so we just set like a Sunday afternoon or something where we're gonna we're gonna order pizza at 2:00 and hang out until 5, and we do something like that.
I think you should work on time management issue in connection with what's the task. If you need a policy, there are plenty of policies. You don't have to write them. Someone needs to, or a group of people need to take control of the project. Set a time schedule. Okay, let's map out a media access policy, a computer use policy. Take a look at a bunch of policies, sit down, go, which one's the best for us? Then assign someone to do a draft, circulate it and get it done.
But we could also do that in a group session all together, get together on a certain day and break up into like 3 groups. We have 3 different policies, come back together. Here's what we came up with. Do you approve each other's?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the best way to do it, but it's a way to do it. I mean, I just been sitting through committee work for the town, so on. And we're in our 3rd or 4th month now. This is complicated,
Yeah.
but putting aside that, since everyone's a volunteer, everyone's busy, since everyone is sort of working in an area that's. it'll get done, but it's really painful, meeting, and we were meeting almost every week and getting nothing done. What we're talking about here is way easier. The issues aren't really hard. There are models that are available. It's really just a question of committing yourself to getting something done. I mean,
Yeah, to me, it's something that one person needs to bang out and then share with everybody, to make sure. But it doesn't seem like it benefits from lots of input, to me.
that can be done in a committee of the whole. I mean, one of the things I think which is good about meeting once a month is that you're meeting the people who are on the board once a month. If you met 6 times a year, you're not really building a community. Board.
Yeah.
And certainly with the policy issue, like the discussion we had on,
What, the internet?
policy was it? Policy.
Oh, the internet, that was.
Interesting discussion.
Glad
Now,
you
we
think
didn't-
so.
I know. But I mean,
I'm glad you think so.
I
I thought it was interesting to me.
After 45 minutes, after.
But the point is, there was a model, there was a discussion about
Yeah.
some issues. And you make a decision and move on.
And the other point is, it's one of,
Well, because we're waiting on people's schedules and whatever, it could be done. Yeah, if you want to get it done, we could.
it's
get it
really
done.
somebody has to say, I'll do it, I'll do it.
And that's the only reason that I would suggest that we only meet as a group 6 times a year, but I would suggest is if we were to move to the having a board meeting schedule every other month, and I'm not sure that I'm in favor of it. But if we kept that other Thursday to say, the off month is when we bang out the policies, or we go through, we have our detailed budget discussion, or we do something, we use that time as a working meeting. We have 2 hours that month as a working meeting. I'm just, that to me would be if it's hard to get this stuff accomplished.
I think it's hard to get the ones that are mandatory that we didn't have before done, and this is one of them, and I think there's, if any, one more only. The rest are, we just are revising when they come due, and we probably don't have to change much of anything. So it's less of a big deal than it seems like it is based on this one, because this one we were starting from scratch, basically. And it's, to me, it's just somebody has to say, okay, I'll do it, I mean, I think we should keep running everything by Sandy, because she is gonna recognize if something just doesn't sound right, or might be illegal, or might get us into trouble, or.
I think that's why we need to look at all of the policies that we have, because most of them are nothing, like they really are, I don't think they're anything.
But they're also not mandatory, we just have them because it's useful to us to have them, so I don't think we wanna go through that process with her with all of these.
No, I wouldn't say so, but they do need to be reviewed though, and really looked at again.
Yeah.
because most of them were written at least 5 years ago, so they're all really old, except for this sexual harassment one.
We did sexual harassment, we did a complex policy. Complex policy is not gonna change. a whole lot.
And do you know if the policies that we wrote up were based on templates from other libraries?
Yeah, I don't want to do it. Policy, I don't think,
Yeah, so,
And the internet policy, which is interesting, is I looked at libraries either and the ALA policies and just as pulled from there. And a lot of the stuff that you have a problem with, the stuff that I pulled from other places, so I don't know how. I was interested to see. Okay, well, what does that mean? What you guys are doing or we're doing, and so I guess everyone has an opinion about. I would assume Albany's gotten their lawyers to look through all of their policies and these good motion at different places, so. I don't know. Did you just? I hear
The water.
The gal that was on the call, or the meeting last was extremely thorough
Yeah.
and extremely, what's the word I'm looking for?
thoughtful,
Huh?
thoughtful.
Cautious, paranoid, I think is the word I was going for. I mean, and I understand it's very litigious society, so I totally get it, I mean, you can go down different paths but she seemed a little, and based upon what you were saying, if this came out of the Albany library system. Much larger and much more diverse than we are. I would think that would suffice.
I think she was just looking at it and saying, well, what are we really saying? Because these two things are in conflict with each other. I think it was almost like. What does it mean? And let's make sure that it's simple and clear. And that's a valuable exercise for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was, you know,
Yeah, but I hear you.
no, I mean, she was really like, this word here.
Yeah, she was going at it.
Yeah, it's like after.
And Scott and I got it. It was good. I didn't say.
Deal with attorneys all the time. Not no more, please.
Really?
That's fine. I used to be an underwriter, so we're on the other side of the desk. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna suggest we all.
That was not an actuary, right?
Some of my best friends were actuaries. No, I was not an actuary.
I'm gonna suggest we.
Sarah, get ready to talk.
Over. And also, we may have some thoughts about it after we go through the effective meeting training too. Maybe we're gonna be,
Oh, yes.
these meetings are so
Yeah.
effective that it won't even be an issue. So let's reconvene then in our March meeting after that.
And we can ask how other libraries handle the policy stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it isn't just, I mean, the policy right now, there's it out there, but it's not just that. It's like,
No.
we do have other committee work that it's.
No, I know.
Do you want me to get a copy from the Pittsfield Library?
It's on their it's on their website.
Is it? Okay, okay.
Um,
I'm, director and I are pretty good friends. So.
At the leadership meeting, not in terms of policy, but in terms of what other libraries do, one of the librarians was talking about, and board members was talking about, they were trying to go to a split schedule. I think it was during the meeting itself, like the first half of the meeting, they had their committees get together, do some stuff.
See that?
And like that. So like there are people's all struggle in similar things.
Or like
Yeah,
there's
there's
like a
like
group.
dance.
Okay.
Basically, the administration. It's more for the boards.
The benefit of that is everything's very fresh in your mind.
The only problem is some people are on more than one committee.
Right.
So it's not like, so Jen would be running. from here.
So here, you're on every, you're the first one on every committee.
And you haven't had time to sort of think through, is this really gonna, even process.
And that would be, I like the idea of putting everything all at once, so we're not meeting all over the place, but like, that would be the only complication.
Yeah.
So. Food for thought. Any other new business?
I have thought about a programming or suggestion idea, but a friend of mine started a company called, it's a website called Beyonder, BEEYONDR. And I don't know if anybody is familiar with it, but they do virtual excursions. So the pricing is, it's priced kind of, it's a little expensive, I think, but basically, if there's hundreds and hundreds of different things you can do, like do a virtual walking tour through like Rome or something. And it's a guide on a phone walking you and answering questions, and they have them all over the place.
And it's not like live,
There's different versions. There are some that are presentations, there are some that are live. It's a guy like, here I am. This
Yeah.
is, where.
You see him on YouTube.
The pricing is, I think might be a issue, but I wonder if it sounds like something that we would be interested in. I could reach out to her and see what they do for things like libraries, because I know they work with senior groups and schools, but I don't know if they have a library program.
I'll look into it.
I'll
look at the things.
And it-
Yeah, B,
Yonder.
like
Beyond.
B and Yonder, yeah. It's very cool, just for personal.
and is it a local friend of yours or is it someone?
She's in Boston. Yeah. But it's very cool. She is a bilateral amputee, and so she started it as a accessibility
Oh,
program, so that people, that, I mean, they travel a lot, but they're traveling. Can't travel, and so it's sort of a full way to, yeah, make it accessible. And there's so many different things you can do, and then they do them over the, you know, like over the holidays, there were a lot of light tours. I can't think of a city, but what, you know, yeah, exactly, something like that.
Springfield,
Um,
New York.
So I thought that would be a cool idea to look into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the problem that would be is if, you know, people sign up, then don't come, or things like that, but
Oh, yeah.
they also, I might have an option of doing it virtually, so that people could come here or sign in or something like that. Anyway, so I just wanted to mention it. Thought that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
I'll definitely look into it and
Yeah.
see. what works.
Yeah, and I can reach out to her for maybe a, get an in. Get a discount, a coupon code. Yeah.
Any other new business? So correspondence, on the drive, there's a couple of different things, I'll highlight them, but then you might just vote. So first one, so there is a fundraiser for the, New Yorkers for Better Libraries Action Committee. So, it's their 15th annual fundraiser, it's February, March 22nd. What did I just say?
February 22nd.
6 to 9 in Albany, there is, magic this year, so.
It's the amazing Ivan.
It's kind of expensive.
It is right.
Yeah.
But, just to know that that's, they asked us to share that information. The trustee handbook book club is happening in. So, I did do one of them last year, and it actually was very helpful, so it just sounds so nerdy, it's just funny. To me. But they are doing it, so it starts again in February on the 21st next week with open meeting laws. Then in April, there is the board director relationship. June, financial planning and budgeting, August, strategic planning, October, equity, diversity, inclusion, and December, finance and managing construction projects. So they are.
One more. For humans.
Like I said, the one that I did, it actually was pretty helpful, pretty good, so, so that's on that, if anyone wants to sign up, put them on their calendar.
And you don't have to sign up for them all. It's a series, but you can
Yeah.
just sign up.
Correct, yes, right, you can do one. And then the big one is Library Advocacy Day coming up on February 28th. So there is a schedule there, published there. They're definitely encouraging people to go, but it's also, they're trying to manage the number of people, so they want people to register for the, who's gonna participate in the libraries. I don't know if it is, Kim, you said you were gonna.
I was planning, and I just looked at it, doctor's appointment, but I'll change the doctor's appointment, and so I was planning on going. Yeah.
What day is it? I'm sorry.
Tuesday.
28th. I am not able to go, if anybody else is interested, I guess coordinate with him.
I did ask my kids if they would come over and get, because they've been to it a couple of times, and they said no.
What takes place? What is it like?
It can be made.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you go and you meet with your representatives, and usually it's a lot of people in one small little room talking to either the actual representative or the representative's staff members. And they either say, oh, we'll pass the information along, and so it's just a little bit of a discussion, not a huge amount, it's basically like just, this is why libraries are important.
No.
And then they do have a huge, they used to have a huge rally in the well of the building, Legislative building. And, you know, everybody's sitting in chairs and on the steps, and, you know, it's a big old, you know, pep rally type thing.
Yes.
gorgeous.
Mhm.
Do you think there will be anything regarding book banning or anything like that because of what's going on in the country?
This is totally about the budget.
Yeah,
It's-
Oh, okay.
Have you been to them?
And to a ton of them, I was the policy director at NISCA. So I went to the ones around food security, the ones around poverty, the ones around, yeah.
This is sort of directed at the legislative ads and budget process. So basically, local books get in, so like, and do a pie conference.
Do you guys all wear t-shirts
Yeah.
or a color or a scarf?
No, some libraries do, like the Long Island, books, they all, I think
We
last
would
time I
have-
saw, they all had like.
Yeah, for
stars on
community
them.
action or the food security stuff, we would ask everyone coming from across the street to wear like a purple scarf or a green scarf or whatever, so that you kind of stuck out, you know.
Is that where you talk about the proposed library aid and construction project?
Yep.
Yep. Um,
I think if you've never done it, it's kind of fun to do it once and to just kind of see how it all works. But yeah, once you've done it, like your kids, if they've done it once or twice, and then it's like, yeah.
they're so done.
Yeah.
Some great pictures of Braylon sitting on the step, like.
It strikes me as being a very child-friendly,
Well,
Can be, yeah, it can be.
There are some kids
Yeah.
who, you know, they.
Really get it.
Library groups and get
Yeah.
kids together.
Yeah.
and-
democracy in action type deal, yeah.
Exactly, and you were also many times a dozen. And I was on crutches, so they didn't help me things around, so
That's a hard place to be on crutches.
it wasn't fun.
ADA, that's for sure.
So the other thing we can do for, if we're not going to the event itself, is there is a link where you can submit your support. So, you know, they give you the pre-filled in thing, like, you know, for all these advocacy days, but I did customize mine with a couple touching things that I observed in our library, and why libraries are so important, so. I'm sure that is going to make a big.
Well, no, one of the people that we talked to said that you wouldn't think it, but those emails actually do make a difference. The more people, they do look at them, and they do see them, and they see, if, you know, so. He said, even though it doesn't seem like they're gonna do anything by the click of a button, it's still pull them out, they can make a difference.
Yeah, the number they get
Yeah.
will impact, and then I think a quick glance to see that they're not exactly all the same exact words helps. But I don't think they really read them, they just quick glance to see if it's the form letter or somebody wrote it themselves.
I was glad that it happened in conjunction with two things that had been here. So over the weekend during the bake sale, seeing that extended family in the library basically all day. Spending time together, the kids are playing, they're picking up, you know, they're making building blocks, they're playing with other kids, that other group of kids make crafts, and the parents sitting around talking, and the other ones, I mean, you just see that this is a nice place. What's that?
Oh, the puppy.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh my God, the puppy was unbelievable.
Oh, there was a puppy?
He was,
Swaddle.
So there was a waddle,
Oh.
sort of like a seal color with little blue eyes.
all them nosed. Stratfordshire Terrier. Gorgeous. It was blue eyes, gray, oh my gosh.
I thought there was a baby there,
Yeah.
but the baby was a dog. It's like- Big brown eyes. Nose, eyes.
Come on, what many guys you have?
On Monday, when I came here, somebody had come in and said somebody new in the community, and I heard him, as he was talking to me, and he was like, I don't know, I would be lost without the library.
Oh, really?
Cool.
And, you know, he's like,
That is nice. That's good to hear.
all right.
Before when we were talking about Mary Trev for a board member, does anybody know their neighbors, Allison and Allison's husband, who I call Allison's husband?
So you know them well.
They're the farmers that live next door to Mary Trev, and they've done things, when we've had things here, they've been here.
Oh, what's her last name?
Allison Bisteskis,
No, what?
Allison Bisteskis. And then
yes,
he
yes.
said a different last name, and the daughter's name's Maggie. But anyways, Allison is no longer at Miss Hall's. So she's, I think, homeschooling and farming,
Oh.
which are not two like, complete time sucks as they are, but at the same time, like, I just think like,
We went to college together.
Did you really?
so you have to reach out to
I
her.
could send her.
Yeah.
Let me see. Well, first time I saw her was actually at story time. Okay. One of the piece. Yeah, anyway, yeah, I can send her a message.
Okay, cool.
Do you think also that she'd be a good?
I don't know, we don't know each other that well. I
Oh,
just know
okay.
we know each other, but
Mhm.
maybe.
I think
Like
she'd
a
be a really
community-
good, yeah,
really
she's
big
very
community,
community oriented
yeah.
and, I mean, she ran the community service program at Miss Hall's, so getting the
Ah.
girls out into the community.
Mm.
to volunteer
Oh,
and
that's
stuff,
great.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Don't they live really almost Nassau? Not that it matters, I'm just.
They're in Stephentown, but they live like where Mary Trev lives, which is like New Lebanon.
Yeah.
Or Lebanon down, it's like, they live over, like you can't get there from.
By now-
They come across the county line?
I think you have to go across the county line to get to their house, even though they live in Rensselaer County.
That's
Stephentown.
Yeah.
But they do, I mean, they use our transfer station, I mean,
Yeah,
this is their town.
Yeah.
No, Stephentown's weird, it just, it go.
And I think Allison has a far greater record than me as far as going to any town meetings or anything. She's engaged.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, good suggestion.
I don't know if I should actually reach out to her, maybe you should reach out to her. You
I can
know
reach out to
better.
her.
Yeah, you know better. You
Okay.
should- Yeah.
If people want me to, I
I
can.
just, I don't know
Yeah.
as well. I just.
I'm just gonna name drop your name.
Yeah.
I'll say, Ari and I.
Yeah.
Pull out the earbuds, let's see what they say.
No, I worked with her years ago. Actually, I had an office in the place where she worked. So we were for a long time.
All right, anything else before we adjourn? All right, so adjourn at 8:55. Oh, yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
It's way too clear.
Nobody in the whole, they all died, everybody was sitting in the library.
Want to stay the night.
It's quiet.
My mom is babysitting, so I could.
Somebody second that, let's improve it, let's go home.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yay, you know. Thank you, Patty, for joining us remotely.
Bye. Where is
Hope to
Patty?
see you guys in May.
Patty,
Pardon me?